Hello, everyone. My name is Junru Zhou, and I'm a senior majoring in art history with a double minor in math and women, gender, and sexuality studies. Thank you all very much for taking the time and coming to my presentation. Today, I will be presenting my summer fellowship with the University Museums under the generous sponsorship of Mrs. Lila Hartnett. Looking at the title of my presentation, why does art still matter? You may wonder, this undergrad student is very bold to tackle this big question within 10 minutes. You're absolutely right. This is an ambitious move indeed. However, as I was preparing for this presentation, I realized that it was this question that my summer fellowship intrigued me to contemplate for almost 3 months, and I aspire to share some of my thoughts with you all. As an art history major student, I had always envisioned myself working in a museum as a professional art curator. Therefore, I was thrilled to discover the Hartnett Summer Fellowship, a program that offers opportunities for undergrad students to curate their own exhibition. However, receiving my offer for this fellowship was not as exciting as I expected. This was the life I envisioned, and this was the life in reality. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, I could not come to the university museums to work, but to quarantine at an apartment, which means that I did not have any physical access to the artworks I investigated. My exhibition project also switched from studying the prints by one particular artist to conducting a survey research on the prints in the University Museum's permanent collections. The confined working space, change of the project, and most importantly, lack of access to the artworks. All of these made me wonder, why am I doing this? Namely, is what I'm doing meaningful? I was concerned whether an exhibition that was curated under several detrimental conditions will still be a meaningful exhibition and an educating one. As mentioned earlier, the project I worked on for the Hartnett Summer Fellowship switched from studying one artist in depth to conducting a survey research on the prints in the Joel and Lila Hartnett Print Study Center collection. Now I'm going to provide a brief overview of this unexpected project. All of the prints I was investigating belong to the thematic portfolio of art titled Art and Empathy Portfolio. It consisted of 20 to 40 pieces of prints. Each portfolio is devoted to one particular theme. Some of these themes are related to social justice issues, such as race, gender, war and protest, while others expand into broader aspects in our contemporary society and daily life, including family and culture, spirituality and faith, etc. As you can see on the slide, here are two examples. The print on the left, square, belongs to the war and protest portfolio, while the piece on the right, the prisoner, belongs to the spirituality and faith portfolio. My job was to write an art history formal analysis for each piece of the prints, study the life of its respective artist, and analyze the connection between the print and other prints produced by the same artist. Meanwhile, my supervisor, Martha Wright, also invite faculty and staff from different departments at the university to select 5 pieces of prints from each portfolio. Martha and I then had the privilege to select 2 pieces among the 5, which were 24 pieces in total. Together, we formed creative questions that tie the prints with its corresponding theme and use them to curate the exhibition, conceptualizing arts and sciences at 30. This process might sound slightly complicated, so here is an example of how we did it. Titled Yellow Flash. The artwork is a screen print by American artist Edna Andrade. Although it is now one of my favorite pieces from the portfolios, I did not expect how much I would be in love with this print at the beginning. In fact, when I first saw it in the data and texture portfolio, I said to myself, does this print even count as art? As a math minor, I found this print almost identical with one of the questions on my final exam for a fundamental of abstract math. Full of suspicion and confusion, I began my research on the artist Edna Andrade and was completely astonished by her pioneering use of color and creative incorporation of geometric shapes. I then wrote a piece of formal analysis for Yellow Flash. The screen print shows an hallucinatory composition of light-colored dots surrounded by blue squiggly lines on a yellow background, which generates a dazzling optical effect. Andre's work is characterized by chromatic spectrums and intricate geometric patterns, inspired by nature, mathematics, and patterns on Islamic architectures. Then Martha and I invited Dr. Heather Russell from the math department to select her top 5 prints from the data and texture portfolio, and yellow flesh was among the 5. Here's a quote from our conversation. Words used to describe art are also used in mathematical contexts: symmetry, projection, pattern, elegance. Dr. Russell pointed out that examining over this portfolio reminded her that math and art are so intimately connected. Beauty and aesthetics can be discovered in mathematical computations, while geometry and algebra are not foreign to art. Inspired by the conversation with Dr. Russell, Martha and I came up with a discussion question. How can we use the complementary nature of math and art to engage in finding symmetry and patterns in different perspectives? This question was displayed on the explanatory label for Yellow Flash, encouraging the audience of the exhibition not only to reconsider the relation between art and math, but also to generate their personal unique interpretation of this artwork. In addition to the unusual search and curatorial process, this installation was just equally unexpected. Due to the university's restriction, I could not come to the campus to set up the exhibition hall. In order to solve this problem, Martha and I communicated on Zoom to discuss the arrangement of all 24 selected prints. It was not until that point that I realized how much size matters to curators. Though not the best, this picture still shows that yellow flesh is in fact much bigger than what we would normally expect. During our Zoom calls, Martha will hold a work of art against her body, so I could use my hand to roughly estimate the size and decide which 2 prints should be juxtaposed to each other. Despite all the difficulties, we together actualized the mission impossible, and I cannot be more grateful for Martha's support and understanding. This unexpected project offered me an opportunity to contemplate several questions that I had overlooked throughout my study of art history at the university. First, it helped me redefine the notion of expertise. I have gained a new understanding of who should hold a voice in the field of art. Consulting a math professor about art will sound completely unreasonable and bizarre to me prior to curating this exhibition. However, now I am more open to incorporate perspectives of people from diverse academic backgrounds and living experiences into my academic work. Second, this project also assisted me to rethink the notion of fine arts. I now have gained a deeper understanding of Walter Benjamin's critique on art for art's sake in his essay, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction. As Benjamin argues, the so-called fine arts or pure art denies the social function of art and enhances the status of authority in a society. Therefore, as a curator, my responsibility is to rethink whether fine arts should be held as the only worth-showing art in the museums. Exhibition is a form of commemoration. Viewing an exhibition and learning about arts are essential. However, seeing oneself, one's identity, and one's personal experience being represented and commemorated is also a powerful and empowering moment for the viewer. Last but not least, this project also challenges my understanding of what it means for an exhibition to be meaningful. By putting questions rather than articulated paragraphs on the explanatory labels, conceptualizing arts and sciences at 30 encourages the audience to generate their personal interpretation for artworks. This way, the role of the audience transforms from a passive recipient of knowledge to an active producer of knowledge. Similarly, the role of the curator also changes from an authoritative instructor to an information provider. The exhibition hence is no longer a didactic lecture, but an open platform for people to express their feelings by using art as a conversation starter. I hope the exhibition I curate in the future will also create an inclusive environment for open and genuine dialogues. Through interpreting the visual narratives, sharing experiences, and listening to the stories of others, the viewers will understand that art is not an elite-only activity, but a way for individuals to communicate themselves. And it is through these communications that we become familiar with each other, appreciate both the common grounds and diversity, cultivate empathy and compassion, and together stand in solidarity. This is why art still matters at this moment, especially this moment. Thank you.